Today, we are taking something so many of us do every single day, cooking, and we are just completely taking it apart.
We are.
Because if you think preparing a meal is just a chore or, a useful skill to have, our sources today are going to argue that you are fundamentally missing the point.
Yeah, we have some fascinating material here that says the act of providing food, it holds this incredible power. We're not talking about culinary arts or being a great chef.
No.
We're redefining cooking as, and this is the core idea, a mechanism for establishing primal relationship control.
And that's our mission for this deep dive. We're going to unpack all of this and show you how this everyday act taps into some of our deepest human instincts. And really, if you stick with us through this, I promise you're going to see all of your human interactions, not just romantic ones, in a completely new light.
It's all about figuring out, as the sources put it, who holds the psychological leash when the plate is served.
So where do we start? The
Tell me.
foundational claim is, it's a big one.
It is. The sources basically state that the person who cooks is powerful and beautiful, but not because of how they look or because it's a nice domestic skill. It's because they are establishing a hierarchy, one that's rooted deep, deep in human survival.
Okay, let's unpack that. The sources call this food as existential control. It starts with a really simple equation, almost unavoidable.
Right. For humans, food is life. It's not like life, it is life. It's the energy that keeps us going.
So if you accept that food equals life, then cooking for someone isn't just a nice gesture.
No, you are literally providing the input that extends their existence. You're designing their continued life, in a way. And that's where this idea of an ontological hierarchy comes in.
Ontology, that's the study of being, of existence itself. So the cook is, what, controlling the other person's existence on a philosophical level?
Exactly. In that moment, the cook is the original authority. They control the actual physical matter that enters their partner's body. They're the gatekeepers of life energy.
But wait a second, it sounds almost manipulative. Is this a conscious strategy or is it something that just happens?
That's the absolute key to all of this. The sources argue it's so potent because it's almost entirely instinctual. It just flies right under the radar of our conscious thought.
So the person eating the food?
They're unconsciously accepting the provider's influence into their body, into their very cells, as the source material puts it, is not really a psychological thing at that point. It's framed as a biological bond being formed.
Wow. So the power dynamic of the entire relationship can shift the moment that first meal is served.
That's the argument. A relationship of, well, of dominance is established because one person is now fundamentally reliant on the other for that primary life-sustaining input.
Okay, that's the big philosophical idea. Let's get into the tangible effects, the brain chemistry. This brings us to section 2, the psychology of surrender, the defense-off state.
Right. So what happens in your brain when you eat delicious food that someone you care about made for you?
I know I feel good, but what's actually going on?
Two really powerful things are happening at the same time. First, just being full, satiation, it eliminates aggression. From an evolutionary standpoint, fighting costs energy. A full stomach tells your primal brain, hey, we're safe, resources are good, no need to fight.
A calm stomach means a secure environment.
Yeah.
Simple enough.
Exactly. But the second thing is way more important for this discussion. The pleasure you get from the taste of the food, it releases a flood of oxytocin in your brain.
The bonding hormone, the trust hormone. You usually hear about that with mothers and babies or physical touch.
Correct. But here it's being triggered by eating. And the sources call this combination being full, plus that oxytocin rush it creates a defense-off state.
Defense off.
Your guard is completely down. You're in a state of profound vulnerability and trust toward the person who provided the food. Your brain is literally rewarding you for accepting them.
And this explains so much, like why couples can have a huge fight and sit down for dinner and suddenly everything feels manageable again.
Yes, it's not just that you're not hungry anymore. It's what the sources call an instinctive realization of dependence.
An instinctive realization.
Your body is being flooded with comfort and trust signals, all coming from the person you were just arguing with. It becomes biologically difficult to stay hostile. The survival instinct just drunned. It overrides the conflict.
The aggression just melts. That's a fantastic explanation. And this isn't just about couples at home, is it? The sources take this right into the business world.
Oh, absolutely. Think about it. Why do business people always fight over who pays for the meal?
To be polite.
No, they're not fighting to be generous. They're fighting to establish psychological dominance.
So you're trying to put the other person in a state of psychological debt.
Precisely. If I manage to pay for your lunch, I've just taken that primal transaction, I provided your sustenance for today, and I've put it into a modern context. I seize the upper hand in whatever comes next. The money is just a stand-in for the life energy.
So if you win the battle over the check, you've basically bought a little piece of the other person's unconscious allegiance. You've created a debt that they now feel a need to repay.
It connects the boardroom right back to the cave. Providing sustenance is always about establishing a degree of control.
Okay, let's shift a little. From control through eating to control through perception. Section 3 is about cooking as a signal, hammering a high-value frame into someone's mind.
Yes, and the components of this frame are very specific according to the sources. Cooking isn't just a skill, it instantly communicates a whole package of traits.
Like what?
Femininity, diligence, an organized life, and acuter. This is the crucial one. The leisure and capacity to care for others.
Why is leisure so important?
Because think about the opposite. The sources use this example. A person who only ever orders delivery. It might be convenient, sure, but on an unconscious level, it signals a kind of chaos, a lack of bandwidth for self-care, let alone caring for a family.
Right. The cook signals abundance, organization, stability. The delivery person signals, well, convenience, and
Right.
convenience is temporary.
Exactly. And the sources have a really striking line here. They say a man feels convenience with a woman who only orders in, but he never pictures a future with her.
That's a harsh line.
It is, but it's getting at something deep. Because the cook evokes what the sources call the shadow of the mother.
Not literally his mother.
No, it's about tapping into that original feeling of a safe place, a place of security and rest and nourishment. The kitchen becomes the symbolic heart of the home.
And that association with safety and stability has to be incredibly powerful for cementing a bond.
It's the ultimate anchor. The sources claim 2 unconscious thoughts are immediately triggered when a man sees a woman cooking for him. And these are the twin drivers that lock in a long-term relationship.
Okay, let's hear them.
The first one is pure survival. The thought is, if she has my children, our family won't starve.
Wow, that is raw.
It's a completely biological assessment. And the second one is stability. The thought is, the house she is in. This is the place I come back to. This is my center.
So that one act, preparing a meal, it connects directly to the deepest human needs for security and for continuity.
And this is the moment, the sources say, that the relationship solidifies. The woman is elevated. She's not just a partner anymore. She becomes, in their words, an irreplaceable being who is responsible for his survival and his security. The ontological hierarchy is now fully realized.
Which brings us to the final section, the practical takeaway. Section 4, the weapon and the designer. The advice here seems really simple on the surface.
It is. Learn some basic cooking, even just a few simple dishes.
But the framing of that advice is everything. This isn't about learning a domestic chore.
Not at all. The sources are very clear on this. It is strategic construction. It is about honing the most powerful weapon you have to dominate the unconscious mind of your future partner.
Weapon is such a strong word. It completely reframes the skill, not as a contribution, but as a strategic asset for gaining influence.
It flips the entire power dynamic. The conclusion is that the woman who cooks is strong because she has established this existential control. She provides the life energy.
And so she reigns as the, what do they call it? The practical designer of the relationship?
The practical designer of the whole environment. She controls the emotional weather. At the dinner table, she can make the other person feel joy, comfort, dependence, because she controls the primal input that governs their entire state of being. Her authority is secure because it's so fundamental.
What a trip. I mean, we started this deep dive with something as simple as cooking, and we've ended up talking about ontology, oxytocin, business debt, and primal dominance. The sources really make a powerful case that preparing a meal is one of the oldest and most effective ways to command unconscious respect.
It really shows that all our interactions, from a multi-million-dollar business deal down to just dinner at home, they're all still run by these ancient systems of survival and dependence. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. You see these transactions happening everywhere.
So we'll leave you with a final thought on that, a challenge for you this week. Start looking for this dynamic in your own life. Where do you see providing sustenance? And that could be literal food, or it could be information or emotional support. Where is that being used to gain control or create an unconscious debt? Who's paying for your meal literally or figuratively, and what psychological price tag comes with it? Something to mull over.